All right, welcome to another amazing episode of Shift Talk. I'm Adam Raymond. I'm here with Holly Pennington, and today we have Lute Atieh with us. I was going to intro his titles, but he has like 12 of them. He's run a couple companies. Right now, today, he is a consultant working with some really cool companies in the manufacturing space. He does a lot of work with AI and how to just improve your company overall. We're obviously going to get into that to give him some free promotional time on air. But before we get to that, I want him to tell us a little bit about like, how did you get here? Why are you talking to us today? Tell us about Lute.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you guys. Most everything I do somehow revolves around training. And so early on, I was a bit of a computer geek as a kid. So my
Mhm.
first real job was tutoring. I don't know if it's called tutoring. There's a senior center in our town, and I would go there and they would pay me to show them how to open attachments from their grandkids. I
Oh,
mean,
I
I was
love that.
Oh,
I
oh
was
wow.
teaching just random basic computer stuff because there was
Can I
always a
have you talk
computer.
to my parents?
Right.
That would be so awesome.
That's exactly right. And so I did that, and then I kind of got into websites and then, back into the training space. But I like training, I like helping people. And then in the recent years, it's how do we bring in technology to help people train other people faster and better and cheaper? And so that's really been the path I've been on now for like 15 years.
Nice.
And we have to mention your killer background, which is not
Yeah.
like some stock image fake background
It's real.
thing.
It's real.
It's real.
It's
I
real.
saw you're also a pilot instructor.
Just a pilot, not an
Just a
instructor, but
okay.
me and my buddies started a flight school last year just to sort of
That
help
That's
counts.
awesome.
our community. We had just sort of an opportunity, no real flight school in our community. And so
Mhm.
we got together and set it up, and now we're doing that. So that's fun. And a
That's
few of
really
them are
awesome.
instructors. I'm not,
Mhm.
but I do enjoy flying.
Not yet.
No, well, maybe, yeah, we'll see one of these
See?
days. There's
Especially if you like training. Like I feel
yeah,
like that
yeah.
that totally
It's
works,
I mean, come
Yeah,
on.
it's difficult. It's difficult to become an instructor.
Mhm.
It's a lot of book work. It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, then maybe not.
yeah, I don't know if I'll do
That
it.
sounds really fun until you realize there's a
It's
ton of
not
math
easy.
and a ton of
Yeah, it's
reading.
tough. Well, it's just the
Oh
time. I
gosh.
don't have the time.
Yeah,
I don't, yeah. I leave it to the
Yeah.
professionals.
there
Ah,
you go.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about. So, what we love to talk about on this show are innovative solutions that people are seeing in this space.
Yeah.
Our audience is super interested in like what's working out there. What have you done that worked? What didn't work?
hmm
Because sometimes
hmm
that's just as important. Give us a story or two of what you've seen, especially in the last few years, how things have been changing so rapidly.
Yeah.
What are people doing to keep up?
Yeah. Honestly, the biggest trend I've seen is this whole let's get video-based training on the floor, which is a pretty big change over the past several years where there's no devices on the floor, no phones,
Right.
no tablets,
Mm.
nothing. And
Mhm.
I know there's a few companies, more than a few. There's several companies that do this on their own. It's in their DNA. They've got the team and the staff. I'm talking about medium, small manufacturers that are just
Right.
finding creative ways to do it themselves. QR codes. How do we give a new employee the tools to self-serve without them being self-conscious about asking people the questions over and over, right? And
Yep.
and
Nobody
that's just
wants to stop
causes,
to ask for directions.
yeah, especially if you're the new guy and
Yeah, I get it.
your trainer or mentor is like 30, 40 years your senior,
Mm.
and he or she's probably answered that question 40 times, and the 41st is going to put him over the edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
So
good
it's
point.
it's kind of the self-serve mentality, and it can be done with like QR codes. Some have tablets, some have PCs. I've seen just really creative ways of people doing that. And there's some companies doing it very well, right? I mean, one of the companies I consult for, Augmenteer, does a lot of that on the floor tablet-based stuff where it's work instruction and training and communications and collaboration with somebody. But all the way back to another company that I've consulted for in the past, which is Remaster, where hey, they just make real quick videos for you, and it's a reference reminder for a new person. Hey, what was the setting on this? And they gotta flip
Right.
through and scan the right code. So there's just like both sides of the tech spectrum of super integrated software like Augmenteer, or hey, I
Mm-hmm.
just need a QR code and like 4 videos on this machine to remind my employees how to do a changeover.
Right.
Yeah. So how did you, when you're talking with a client that you're working with to help them see the need to progress down this path, how do you overcome the traditional mindsets that are not only always push against change, but
Yeah,
a rather big change of like, hey, we typically don't allow any devices on the floor. Now you're coming in saying, hey, let them have tablets or
that's
phones.
right.
How do you,
It's tough.
get them there and see the goalpost, which is better trained employees that are
Yeah.
retaining information and that it's not a safety issue?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. I think part of the reason this doesn't work in some places is because they want to change everything and everybody at the same time. And that's
Ooh.
not really going to work, right?
Yeah.
So there are companies, as I mentioned earlier, that are very tech progressive, and it's going to be fine. And then
Right.
there's everybody else. And so one thing I've seen work is to just put a tablet on your new hires. Don't make everybody do it. That's just going to aggravate your senior people who are just
Right.
trying to do a good job, right? So I've seen a few companies do like, the tablet on a sling kind of thing. You wear it
Mm-hmm.
over your
Mm-hmm.
shoulder like a purse,
Yep.
and hard case and everything. And then that's the resource, right? So, it could be offline even. I've seen it offline. This has got all the reminders, all the SOPs, the schematics, videos, whatever they've got, whatever you learned during training. If you have a question, in particular, if you're on like a third shift, maybe look in the tablet
Oh, yeah.
first, and
Mm.
don't start calling people at home. And so I've seen that work. That is the low friction way to sneak change into a company with the new people, because a lot of these new people, I'm going to make some wild assumptions here. A lot of these new people are younger. They grew up
They are.
with these in their
Mm-hmm.
hand, and they're
Oh
used to
yeah.
watching video instruction on YouTube when they're trying to figure out how to put together IKEA furniture or whatever the case is.
You're not
And
wrong.
yeah, they've come in and everything's on paper, and it's just you got to
Yeah,
find the
it's like
binder, so it's just it can be done very, very low budget, low effort if you just isolate it to the people that really need it, which is the new
Mm.
hires, and don't force everybody to do it
mm.
at first, and then naturally it'll just kind of sort itself out.
Yeah, it's almost kind of like you've mentioned this phrase like onboarding 1.0 is dead, and here's what 2.0 looks like. Can you
That's
explain
it.
that a little bit more?
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
mean by that?
The 1.0 is everybody pile into this room and we're going to watch
Yeah.
PowerPoints, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
yeah, and
died
I
a
get
little
there needs to
inside.
be,
Just
yeah, there needs to be some of that, right? I mean, that you've got to go through
Yeah.
your benefits and
yeah,
insurance,
of course.
but
Sure.
it's to trying to train somebody about what to do on the floor, but doing it in a classroom doesn't traditionally work. And then the second method of, hey, go follow Adam around and learn. That's all they got, and it's working, but that's starting to fail because Adam's busy, and there's like
Yeah.
4-to-1 new trainees to Adam,
Yep.
and Adam gets grumpy because he doesn't want to keep answering these questions. And,
Right.
why aren't these guys learning anything? And then they ended up quitting because Adam's kind of a
Yep.
jerk.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You're doing it again.
it's this whole thing. So it's like, and the Augmenteer does this well. This might be their tagline, but it's training in the flow of work, right?
Oh.
So think about a tablet. That's really that's all it is. You need to make training a part of the on-the-job experience, but give them the tech tools to self-serve, and that takes the pressure off of the rest of your senior talent,
Yeah.
your really, really skilled labor, and taking pressure off them means they're going to stick around longer. Maybe they'll go a little longer past retirement. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
maybe as they start to want to retire, you give them some sort of more of an administrative training role where they're sort of creating this stuff. Or, the goal here is just to make it all digital as much as you can.
No, you bring up a really good point because this is probably one of the biggest hurdles when we're working with a new client and they're trying to figure out training and they're having to take their senior people off the floor, so production tanks, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is they're doing this every 3 weeks because
That's right.
people aren't lasting.
They just need to capture it one
Right.
time or every time it changes, and digitize it and move on.
Yeah, because,
It's,
well, you also have the issue of the workforce aging out. So
yeah.
what happens when that person who's been doing the job for 30 plus years and is the only person in the building who knows how to do it, they've now retired, and your training asset just walked out the door.
That's right. And these old machines that all have their little quirks, like,
Oh, yeah.
if Bob's the only guy that knows how to fix that someone needs to get a camera and record that. Just 3 minutes. Just record it, and then you can put it into your work instruction app. You can throw it on SharePoint. You can do a private YouTube channel that's, locked down, whatever it is. It's so simple. I think everybody just tries to make this so formal, and it gets difficult to do. It's going from 1.0 to like 4.0, which is full connected worker suite. You can't go in one step. So, first let's just capture things digitally, and then maybe we stick them on a playlist, and then maybe we do a tablet, and then you walk your way towards like a full connected worker suite. But the first step is really just get a wireless microphone and an iPhone and just start recording your senior person talking through how they're fixing this particular issue.
Yeah, I think that's so important to capture that tribal knowledge before they retire out. Totally makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of that weirdness as far as like, hey, these machines are a little different. It's always in maintenance, right? It's like the maintenance department, and it's cutthroat out there for maintenance technicians. I mean, there are companies that'll swoop right in and grab three people off your team for $1 more an hour, and that's it every time. It's just done. And the machines are down longer, and it's just, so I'd start there. If I were to advise somebody, it's just start at maintenance. Maintenance is critical.
Well,
start capturing data and maintenance.
Yeah.
I love your suggestion too of stop overthinking it. Right? Yeah. Just start with something easy. Record a video on your phone. It does not have to be a Hollywood production. You do not need $30,000 in software to edit this stuff. Like, just record something, and then eventually you can get to, like you said, an integrated full end-to-end training suite. But we're talking, like you said, going from 0 to 1.
0 to 1, because you'll get a new person into a company that wants to go full on and get everything, and they bring in a big company to do it all, and then it just never happens because it's just too big of a shock. And so a couple of the things and the challenges that I've seen is your subject matter experts on the floor, they don't want to be on camera. They don't want their voice on camera. They don't want their face on camera. Well, fine, right. So listen, you're going to record their voice and their hands or whatever they're doing, and then just upload it to any number of softwares, Remaster, 11 Labs. There's a bunch of them. They'll grab a script. You can even go in and take out the ums and the ahs and the F-bombs and
all
whatever.
those filler words, for sure.
And then, get on Fiverr and spend $20 having somebody pair your audio over your video. Or if you've got an employee that's creative, get them a Mac and they'll use iMovie. It's really that simple. I mean, it's simple. It's really, really, really simple. If you just look at it like very primitive, let's just do one video with voiceover, and then we can control the quality of it by voicing it over and changing what's being said. We can go in and trim video very easily. You don't have to hire this full production suite anymore. And there's a ton of tools and AI out there, but I think it just starts with get somebody a laptop with iMovie on it and get them to work. I mean, you could do an intern even. I mean, everybody under the age of 30 knows how to do what I just said.
I was going to say, probably grabbing one of your new hires.
Yeah, for sure.
They could just pull up their phone and have something edited and done in an hour.
By lunch. That's right.
I mean, they could recreate the moon landing if they wanted.
Yeah. We were just talking about that, right?
See how I worked that in? I was going to work that in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you just get somebody an iPad with iMovie on it and you give it to one of them, they'll have it sorted. It'll be done.
And you know what the best part is? They will love that opportunity, right? Like, here you have somebody who's new to the facility, they're learning all this stuff that feels overwhelming, and then you give them a task that's like, hey, this is in your comfort zone, we need to create this, could you be a part of helping us do
That's right.
it?
That's right, yeah. And because the usual suspects that get assigned that, I've seen it done, is, the marketing department will do it. Well, the marketing does a good job in videos and everything else for sales, but if you put a marketing person on a training video, they're going to overproduce it. And then
you were 1,000% right.
You just lost. Yeah. And then if you ask somebody in HR to do it, they're going to start with the policy
I
first
was
or the
gonna say
written SOP,
Right.
and your 4-minute how-to guide just turned into 15 minutes. No offense to
Exactly.
it's
HR people that might be
6 hour
watching this.
recording
Yeah,
of the handbook, being
that's right.
flipped page by
And so
page.
everybody's giving these tasks to like desk-oriented people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it needs to be given to like a deskless employee, or give
Mm.
somebody, like you said, a new hire on the floor who's learning this as they speak. Let them capture
Mm-hmm.
this knowledge from the floor, and then in editing, if something was done improperly or we missed a safety step, you can always spend a couple bucks to put that in. But if
Yeah.
you start from the written SOP and try to push that onto the floor, it's resistance. People are tired of that. It's got to be done on the floor, from the floor,
Mm.
I
or it
love
will
that.
not get used by the individuals on the floor.
And I love like naturally since you would be just documenting step by step, it chunks it down.
That's
And I
right.
think that's one thing we've talked about before about how sometimes we go soup to nuts training and it's just overwhelming for a new
Oh,
hire
yeah.
versus kind of showing them a particular step in the process and kind of leveling them up.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. I've actually seen a few, like, I forget where it was. I wouldn't mention them anyways, but they were
Publicly
introducing like
shame them.
Do not.
like while they were teaching somebody to do the job, they were giving the theory and a
Oh.
lot of like the background knowledge. I mean, which is great long term, but they were basically trying to create a seasoned employee by giving them not just how to do the skill, but the knowledge behind why. And that's fine.
Interesting.
I get that long term, but information overload. It was all done by conference room
Oh wow.
sitting down. And if you weren't there, it was recorded, and then you could watch it later. And it's like an
Oh.
hour and a half of, well, this is the machine, and here's who invented the machine in the
Oh no.
Wow.
30s, and
Wow.
here's how.
No.
Nobody
No.
cares. Show me how to operate it without cutting my arm off. That's what I want to
Yeah.
know today. And then
Yes.
as I age here in the company, maybe put me into a once a month, I'll call it professional development,
Yeah.
so I can
Yeah.
start to learn, why is this thing called that, or what other uses are, can we use this equipment for? It's just too much. They're trying to it's too much, right? Just focus on like the bite size, like this is happening and here's how to correct it. And we don't
Mm-hmm.
need to necessarily know why it happened for now, unless it's my job to go find that root cause and fix it. But traditionally it's not, it's maintenance. So
Right.
if
Right.
I'm an operator and that sensor tripped that light, here's how I fix it and clear the code. And if that goes again, and all I need to know how to do is just call maintenance.
Yep.
I don't need to be taught why the sensors are looping, because I'm not here to troubleshoot right now, right? I'm here to do
Mm-hmm.
a very quick job. And it kind of goes back, Adam, to what you mentioned earlier, where your new clients are trying to find
Mm-hmm.
ways it needs to be in short, bite-sized pieces on the floor.
100%.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
that's really what I'm after when I try to give people advice and help them. It's just, you guys got to downgrade the complexity to like
Simplify.
simplest
Simplify.
form. Yeah. I mean, if you built furniture lately, it now comes with a QR code.
Yeah.
You scan it and there's like a digital step-by-step guide with little video clips. That's what you need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
It kind of reminds me of the TV mount that my husband got for us, and it's really cool packaging, and it had a QR code, and it
That's right.
had a video that was super simple, like step 1, 2, and 3. This YouTube video of how to put it all together and mount it
Yeah.
safely, and yeah, and they just make it super easy.
Yeah, so imagine you just did that at home and then you get invited in to go work somewhere and everything's on a binder. It's like
Yeah.
I don't even, I don't know the last time I've had to read something actually, like,
Well, wait.
legitimately read something. Like, everything's on video now.
Okay, okay.
Someone says, "Hey, have you read this book?" I'll say yes, but what I really mean is I've listened to
Listen
it.
to the
Ah,
audiobook.
okay, okay. We see ya.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm guilty of that.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
so what else when you walk in the door, you're working with, a really cool company that's got a great product or service. What other challenges are you seeing out there right now?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a disconnect from leadership that is wanting uptime and production numbers to be up and all that, and not really giving the tools and the time to people that need to solve the problem, which
Hmm.
is causing, production numbers to be low, right? Like lack of training, a lack of very clear and easy way for operators to troubleshoot equipment. They're not there, and they're not really designing around solving those problems either. It's just like work, 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 work. What I like to see is companies that'll just take a teeny step back and either hire someone for the role of building this out, which is the best case scenario, or giving, like you said earlier, giving one of your new hires some tools and some time off the production line to start creating these little things that'll help on board. And it's all about time to productivity. How
Right.
fast can I safely get somebody comfortable to do this? And video is the only way to do that. Video and what I'll call digital work instruction.
Right.
Those are the only two ways that I've seen successful over the years. Sometimes they have binders and they have posters with, a little video. Video sticks.
Especially for us younger people out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that's kind of the core of the issue, is a disconnect between applying how they came to be where they're at, right? We see this all the time, right? A typical plant manager, they started in that job 34 years ago, right? And it's a disconnect between how I was brought up to work this job, how I was brought up to see training, to see how I'm supposed to dedicate myself to this job, all of those things. Is that what you're seeing as well, as a disconnect between leadership and management and still holding people to the same, what's the right word? Not so much standards, right? Because we're not saying that companies should look at relaxing the quality level of the product they're putting out.
Right.
It's more of a philosophical standard.
Yeah.
Are you seeing that when you're out talking to folks?
Yeah, the smaller the business, the more that happens where you have, and I said it earlier, halfway joking, but you'll have, sort of a grumpy senior guy that is just tired of training and seeing this turnover. Instead of looking down on the turnover thing, just build around it. You're going to have people coming and going. Your training, your jobs, the things and how people do their jobs just needs to be condensed to where it's not costing you as much time or money to train somebody, which means you're going to have to change things around. And some companies are evolving and some are just forcing like the old school method.
Right.
And they're struggling because these bigger companies, some of these Fortune 500s, some of the customers that I've worked with, they're evolving quick and they're going to come steal your employees if you can't compete with making somebody comfortable and confident to stay with you. Because most manufacturing employees, they don't want to go work for the big XYZ production. They'd rather work for a family owned or a medium manufacturer where they're making cool stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some variety in the product and some fun. But the problem is those companies, they can't train at all because they're not adopting anything. And so it just comes back to, if I'm leadership and I tell somebody in HR to figure out my training problem, HR is just going to get on the internet and find some software. And then, half the time implementation doesn't go well. The other half of the time, it's like an all or nothing solution. And then it dies.
Right.
For these small businesses, small, medium, and small business to me in manufacturing is 50 to 100 employees, 20 to 50 million in revenue. And those are the ones that are struggling in what I've seen. They're struggling to take the step, struggling to even hire a company, struggling to really do anything because what they've tried has failed just because they're kind of going the SaaS, let's buy our way out of this problem. And it doesn't work that way. It's not going to work that way.
So what advice would you give to a smaller, mid-sized manufacturer that is struggling to kind of make that shift?
Yeah.
What would be your first step? Is it like a mindset shift? What is it?
I would say, it's a bit of a mindset issue to start, but let's assume that's solved, right? Let's assume they've hired some people and they get it and they want to do better. I think if they don't know how to digitize things, set with one of your new employees as they're progressing. Don't try to do a post, like they quit on me and now I need to interview them, a debrief, just like an exit interview. Try to talk to them about how they're feeling and what's happening and where they're getting overwhelmed, because a lot of that turnover is caused by my supervisor or trainer is terrible. I don't know if I can do this job. And that's a lack of what I'll call comfortable training. You need to give somebody the confidence that they ordinarily probably don't have. I don't know if I can do this job. I don't know if it's cut out for me. And then it's stuff that you can't fix. It's too hot in here. It's too cold.
Right.
Whatever. But these first two, those are all on you. And you can't just go yell at your supervisors and trainers and tell them to do better. They won't. They
Right.
don't know how, and you're not
Right.
spending the time on professional development because you don't have the budget or the time. So I think it's tough to say, but the less direct interaction your new hires have with your most senior people for the basic stuff, the better. That's why you got to digitize it. So start getting things on video. Start just making it easy for them to self-serve. That's the answer. Even if you do give them a binder to carry around, let them self-serve so they don't have to keep bothering Adam and put them into
Yeah,
a
leave me
bad mood.
alone.
Right.
I think you've said it before about just because you might be the best operator doesn't mean you're the best trainer. And I think that's often like a misperception a little bit
Preach.
Yeah.
in this space.
Yeah, hey, he's the best person we've got. Let's get him to teach the others how to be the best, and that's
Yeah.
rarely works,
Right. And you kind of lose out on the fact that he's really good at what he does. His production
That's right.
numbers will probably go down too, and that's just not good for the business.
That's the dilemma. Where I've seen that happen a lot is, let's assume that really good guy is also bilingual. So now they're pulling him off the line
Right.
twice as much. And it just goes back to, well, if you're digitizing this stuff, it costs a matter of pennies now to get things voiced over in different languages. And then you can work with your bilingual individual to quality check it. I mean, it just takes a little bit of time and effort and a little bit of money, and you can start to solve this problem. But it's tough when you assign it to your existing team and say, I need you to go fix this, and they've got other responsibilities and jobs, and like I mentioned, it's given to marketing, it's given to HR.
Yep.
Unless you're lucky enough to have a learning and development department, which most companies aren't.
Yeah,
Unless
not
you're
at
big.
that size.
Yeah.
That's right. Then you're stuck with marketing or HR, and guess what? Both are very busy.
That's true.
So it just doesn't get done. It doesn't get done. And so
But I also like, from the point of view, recording it and documenting it from the operational standpoint, because
That's
like
right.
you said, like I think a marketer or an HR professional is going to have a certain lens going into documenting it.
That's right.
But I love your advice about have the operator
Yeah.
from his point of
Empower.
view.
Yeah, that's the best advice to answer your question earlier. It's give this task to operators. Get one or two that you can trust that'll do a good job, and just let them start capturing, because it'll be so good and precise. That's where you start.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah,
great
because
advice.
they're already doing it. They call them unsanctioned videos. They're already filming little clips and texting it to each other between shifts, and it's a huge liability on the company. Huge liability.
Interesting.
And so it's already happening. I hate to say that, but leadership ought to know it's happening. And when somebody gets injured, that'll be brought up in discovery, and it'll be shown. And so might as well get ahead of it and start approving these. Run them
Right.
through health and safety. Hey, these are not traditional training videos. This was built by Adam on the floor, but we want to give it a shot. Can you make sure there's nothing dangerous in here?
Yeah.
It looks good. And then keep it out of everybody else's hands. Just if it's safe and is it accurate, and don't let anybody else touch it. And then which is why it's really important, like with what Augmenteer does, it's the operators are actually making the work instruction. And that's critical, because if it starts anywhere else, it's going to turn into this monster.
Yeah.
And it's why I like dealing with smaller companies with like what Remaster does, is they just say, you know what, it's on the floor. Give the phone or camera to the guy on the floor, and then send it to us and we'll clean it up. But it's got to start there. That's the advice.
Oh, I love that. What else you got for us? Anything else we want to touch on?
I think there's a lot of companies, especially small ones, that are scared of working with AI. And they think that's the only way to get this stuff done, and it's not. So, just putting AI aside, if you're not ready to work with AI, there are lots of tools out there that will actually do voiceovers and create scripts and things like that. And there's actually contractors online that'll do that for you, where you don't have to rely on AI if you're not ready to upload your data into these
Right.
random
Yeah.
websites. And I get
Makes
it.
sense.
It's 100% a real concern out there. So just rely on contractors online. There's several websites that are out there that do it, to get things voiced over, scripted, without diving into the AI world, which is what's going to hold back a lot of these medium, small manufacturers that don't have an IT team that says this is safe and this is not. So that's a problem.
Have you seen
So,
any companies doing this well yet?
like manufacturers?
Yeah. Have you had any real world
Yeah,
experience
yeah.
of seeing somebody actually go from 0 to 1 and see some good results from that?
Yeah, I have. And the difference is that there's somebody in the company that has spent time on the floor
Hmm.
and maybe they've given additional responsibility to. That's where I've seen it work. Two times this year, I've seen companies that have somebody now in a training role that used to be on the floor and they were really, really good. And now they've added this sort of
Oh, that's cool.
training or advisor or new hire guidance. It's new hire mentorship. It's more than just here's how you do your job.
Right.
It's really about confidence building. That's the piece that it's nice to be trained by somebody on the floor that started knowing nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the reality is there's got to be a little bit of confidence coaching and telling somebody and showing them the path, right? This is you asked me earlier a question and I don't think I finished answering it, but documenting the path to getting very, very proficient is
Hmm.
having that little roadmap for a new hire to see. It's like, here's where you are. And
Mm-hmm.
over time, I promise you, just like other people, you're going to be an expert. And here's how that looks. And here's the time roughly we think it'll take. And if you're organized enough, and here's how your pay will advance along the way.
Right.
It's empowering them and giving them something to look forward to. Because a lot of these manufacturers just get in here, do your time,
Yeah, exactly.
you'll be fine.
And workers today, that you're not going to entice them by saying, "Oh, we've got a great 401k match," right? Like that's
No,
not what they care about.
no.
But telling them, "Hey, every 90 days we're going to review your progress, see where you are in this training pathway, and there's a potential for an increase at every one of those checkpoints." Right now,
Yeah.
I'm interested in sticking around.
And the 401k group is always going to appreciate the 401k, but then there's the
Yeah.
rest of
Yeah.
the employees that really want some flexible scheduling and the ability to do kind of the gig thing, right? And so,
Yep.
but these companies have one onboarding funnel, one training
Yeah.
funnel, and they're like, no, we're not
Yeah.
going to dive into the fractional work thing because it'll upset our other people. No, it won't. These people value different things,
That's
right?
right.
This person values a full-time job and overtime and 401k, and this person, they want to work on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, but they'll work really hard while they're
Yeah.
here, and
Yep.
that's
Exactly.
it. And unless you start digitizing this training and creating different funnels into your company, you're going to struggle a lot. And then you talk about guys wanting to retire as
Yeah.
soon as they humanly can. Well, perhaps take that senior person and let them quasi retire and give
Mm-hmm.
them the job of capturing all this tribal knowledge or institutional knowledge, give them the task of helping the new
Right.
guy or girl capture this.
Mm-hmm.
And now this person's not as excited to retire because work's not as hard as it was.
Right. Right.
He's like, yeah, I can come in and do the whole digitizing thing. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Part time, of course. I got to go play golf or do whatever retired people do, but I don't want to have to come in every day and stand on this line. And
Yeah.
that's a mentality shift on leadership. If you can think of your employees in different categories, and I've seen this work, it's out there. It's not just pie in the sky. Here's my part
Mm-hmm.
time knowledge base that come and go and wander around and help and mentor people. Here's my new people, here's my fractional people, here's my 401k people that really,
Yep.
really are just, you got to adapt to have them all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to upset people. Everybody's here for a different reason. As long as you just appreciate that, give them the tools, it'll be fine.
I swear we didn't pay him to say that either. 'Cause or it's
That's
so
what we do.
ironic. Literally was sitting in a conference room with leadership, a new client of ours, and that was one of the biggest concerns, especially from HR, was,
100%.
oh, everyone's going to want to go work this
No.
way.
Nope.
And we were
Not
like,
going to happen.
no,
Not going to
you're-
happen.
they're not going to give up all of those benefits and things
No,
that are
health
important to
and
them.
vacation. It's not going to happen.
Like, no,
You're not
but
going to do it. And if
at
you
the
do
same
lose a
way,
couple, yeah.
at the same way, you're sneaking up the full-time, yes, I'm going to stay here 30. Could you take a 22-year-old and say, hey, we want you to see this job as something you're going to do for the next 30 years? They are so,
They're gonna be like,
screaming.
"Hello, I'm out of here."
I can give you 30 months.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
if that.
Well,
Um,
and if you give that 23-year-old the choice to come in and do this on a limited schedule, and then 23-year-old meets a partner, gets married,
Yep.
maybe expanding a family. And then all of a sudden, 23-year-old's like, hey, boss, I know I've been kind of doing
Yeah.
the whole 3-day a week thing. I need 9 days a week now.
Right.
I've got, and then same with your full-time people. Hey, I've got, now I'm caring for a family member at home and
Yeah.
I don't want to lose my job, but I really need to be at home 3 days a week. Okay, cool. Maybe move over here to this type of work. And
Exactly.
it's just a mentality shift. And it's the only way that I think small, medium businesses and manufacturing are going to survive in this country is that they allow a little more flexibility. And that goes back to, if you're doing that, it can't take 3 weeks to train somebody
Yeah.
Right.
anymore. It needs to be
Exactly.
3 hours, and you can't do any of that without it being digitized and making it easy to digitize, because everything we've talked about today still requires a person on a device, like coordinating all this.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's companies that can help out there, but you got to take the first step by getting a microphone on somebody
Yep.
and getting a camera on their hands and then let them start talking.
And I think you'll be surprised with what you get when you just
Yeah.
start recording. Like you said, most folks, they're going to be hesitant. I'm not good on camera. Nobody wants to see me.
It's okay.
It's fine. Let's
Yeah.
just start recording. And the next thing you know, you probably can't get them to shut up. And you've got
That's
all
right.
this great content
That's
to
right.
work with.
Yeah.
And
you
if they
don't
really
need to
don't
be an
want to,
influencer.
you're right. And if they don't want their voice on there and they don't want to sound dumb by saying and ah, we all do it, but you don't realize how dumb you sound until you have to listen to yourself. And I get it. It's just, okay, great. We'll just pay someone else to voice
Yeah.
it over, or we'll let AI to do
Right.
it. And the value of what they just captured is huge. And that was the biggest thing I ran into when I started doing this several years ago, is these experts do not even want their voice on camera.
Right.
And so as soon as you can cross that bridge of saying, we're
Yep.
just going to capture the knowledge, it'll be scripted, we're going to have somebody else do it. As soon as you get that done and their face is not on there,
Yeah. You're
problem
golden.
solved. And then you can even say, you can give credit to, it's just another trick another company did. At the end of each of their training videos, they list the people involved
Oh,
as
I
credit
love
Oh, that's
that
too.
idea.
great.
So subject matter experts, Adam, Holly,
Yeah.
filmed by Lute, edited by, so it becomes more of a legacy thing. And so it's all psychological, everything is.
Yes.
Right? So
Oh, yeah,
it's
100%.
how it's presented, I think. And so the mindset and the change management of getting a company to think like this and getting some employees to buy in doesn't have to be all, but HR is like an all or nothing type of deal. They don't like this
Right.
separation, and people don't like it. So you got to really get them to dive in, solve the problem a different way.
Yeah. I love this. All right. So, loved this conversation. We'll obviously have more in the future. How do people find you? They want to find out more or pick your brain
Yeah,
further.
sure. LinkedIn is probably the fastest, easiest way
Awesome.
to get a hold of me, and LinkedIn's
Okay.
good.
We'll put a
Awesome.
link to your bio
Yeah,
and
yeah. Find me. I'm
show
happy to
notes.
help. Look at what you have. I can teach you to do a thing or two. I can refer you to a couple places that I think do a good job. As I mentioned, Augmenteer earlier with Connected Worker, Remaster for just video editing tools and voiceovers and language translations. I mean, there's so many tools out there. And then somewhat recently, I've helped a company. I was consulting for them on just helping them build a plan to get from 1.0 to maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We built a 5-year plan,
Wow.
and then we laid out the steps, and we laid out budgets and things
That's
and people they
perfect.
need to hire. And because they have to go back to their leadership. Leadership says, I need a path to solve this.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do anything until next year, but now they have a roadmap. And so as people come and go in training in HR, which is part of the problem, right? You have Holly comes in, she has this whole training video thing down, and then she leaves and the project dies. And so
Right.
I would say building a roadmap, I'm pretty good at helping companies build roadmap. If you want to get to a full connected worker suite in 4 or 5 years or 3 years, here's how you start.
Right.
Just
Love that.
very small steps.
That's perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.